to Denver University.
Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline, 256-576-4977. Now, here's D Squared.
Welcome back to the Recruiting Blitz. Hump Day today, the Wednesday edition. I'm D Squared, Drew DeArmond, as we are on Blitz Sports Radio. We're going to have a busy show today. We've got two guests lined up, two outstanding head coaches, as we are going to be talking the 256-205 challenge, which just started this week, actually. It's 1-1. The Grissom Tigers went on the road to Oak Mountain, and they won a outstanding matchup with the Oak Mountain Eagles. And then the Vestavia Hills Rebels, led by Belmont signing Wynn Miller, the all-time leading scorer now for Vestavia basketball, one of the top programs in our state. They go on the road and win 66-58 against Neil Barker's Muscle Shoals Trojans. So it's going to be 1-1 right now. This will be the third chapter of this showcase, as the Huntsville High Crimson Panthers, ranked number 8 in 7A basketball. They are coming off of a huge win on the road at Sparkman, as they did an outstanding job as they won that game 57-39 this past Friday. They are 3-0 in 7A Area 7. They are 16-7 overall, and they will be taking on one of the best teams, not just in the state of Alabama, but in the United States. They are ranked in the top 50 in the Max Preps rankings, and also they are 19-0. And they have an outstanding head coach who in 2019 won it all for Pinson Valley. I believe it was the first state title in school history, and then went on. He's also won 3 at Midfield in Birmingham. He's done a great job. He's a 4-time state champion. That's Coach Darrell Barber. He will join us in the second half of the hour, but our first guest is now with us this morning. He is in his 5th season at the helm of the Huntsville Crimson Panthers. He's done an outstanding job. He's been to 4 straight Sweet 16s, 3 Elite 8s, won a state championship, as a coach, multiple state titles, I should say, with Bucky McMillan at Mountain Brook High School. Worked for a Hall of Fame coach in his father, and Captain Jack Swears, who won a state title at Trinity in Montgomery, an outstanding coach. And then also he's done a great job also playing for his dad, was an outstanding guard in his playing days, and now has built Huntsville High into one of the most consistent programs in the state of Alabama, and is going to take on a huge challenge going on the road to face Pinson Valley in what should be a high-level game. And it's going to be probably one of the most highly anticipated of the season, and we're certainly looking forward to it tonight. And he's been good enough to join us this morning on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Coach Swears, good morning. How are you?
Doing well, Drew. Appreciate that introduction, man.
Yeah, no problem. Really looking forward to this one. And I know you had a chance to play against Coach Barber's team over at Supreme Courts in Guntersville this summer. And I love the month of June now because you get a chance to play against different people. And I remember you and I speaking, and I just felt like that was one of the top 2 teams Huntsville probably saw the whole summer. A very talented team. And I remember you talking to Coach Barber, and you guys were already talking about playing this season, and this is a different, unique situation. You're kind of taking a break in the middle toward the back end of the season, because area play is very important. It's the most important games of the year, but you're taking a week sabbatical. You're going to get started and cranked back up with the second half of area play next week, but you're a part of this 256-205 challenge, and you had to be invited. It's being put on by the great folks over at Knight Eady. It's an honor to participate, and then you get a chance to play against a team of the caliber of a Pinson Valley that you're going to have to play if you want to, reach the Final Four, which I know is the ultimate goal for your program.
Yeah, that's exactly right. It is a unique game to be playing on January 18th. I like it, though. It's in the middle of, we've played 3 area games. We got 3 more to go, and this is a great way for our team to be able to keep our edge and keep our focus at a level it needs to be at. And, you're going to get tested. You're going to get exposed in areas. And this is a freebie, so to speak. Obviously we want to go win the game, but this is a great experience for us to play in I'm sure it'll be a packed house tonight at Pinson Valley. Those guys don't lose really at home. And so that challenge is there for us, but we're up to the challenge. We like going on the road, and we're looking forward to playing tonight. It'll be a fun night, and I really appreciate the folks at Knight Eady for putting this together and inviting us. And I'm glad we could get this matchup worked out with Coach Barber's team.
Yeah, and I mean, certainly what it is you've seen your team grow quite a bit, 16-7 right now. You always put together a very difficult schedule, Coach, from start to finish, and certainly your pre-area schedule was very difficult. You took on this challenge, and I thought your team really responded and started forging their identity coming out of Christmas and the Huntsville City Classic. Certainly, your squad finished fourth in that great event. It was an extremely deep tournament. We take pride in thinking it's the best in the southeastern United States. Of course, we would love to have Pinson Valley be a part of it in the future. But, I think your squad has really played at a high level since the Classic. And a lot of times it's usually a little past the halfway point, but we consider it, the halfway point of the season. And you kind of figure out who your team is, figure out, how they look against top-level competition. It prepares you for area play. But how have you seen your team grow since they wrapped up the Classic and since they've started area play so strongly?
Yeah, I mean, we like our team. We have a bunch of guys that are high-character kids that, they do well in school, that they're respectful, they work hard, they're gym rats. The only thing that probably we would like to be a little different is we want to be a little bit older. We're playing 5 sophomores in our top 7 rotation, and, you can't just snap fingers and make these guys, even though they're talented, make them grow up overnight. And so playing a tough schedule early on has been good for us because it challenged us. It put us in spots that these guys need to grow up in. And I feel like after, there's a stretch here in December I thought we played really well. And we've had to play a lot of games. We played 13 games without J.D. Gossett, who arguably is a glue, important piece for our team to fit together. And just does so many things well at a high level. And you're talking about a guy that started 30 games last year as a freshman on one of the top teams in 7A, and we were missing him. And we were trying to figure out life without him for a while there. And, man, I tell you what, we were really glad to have him back. We're a much different team with him in the lineup. And I feel like we've gotten into a groove here since Christmas. And I like how we're playing. We've played well last 3 games, those area games. And so we're looking forward to tonight. I know it'll be a different type of game than what we're used to playing. Pinson Valley is so athletic, but they're so skilled. And we very rarely see that in high school with 4 or 5 guys that shoot around 40% from 3. And I'm talking these guys make them from the parking lot. And so, and then on top of that, they're very athletic. So it's a challenge for sure defensively, and that's where we've been hanging our hat here lately.
And certainly, and I thought it was big for J.D. Gossett. You mentioned the 13 games he missed, Coach. It allowed some other guys to expand their roles, get comfortable. But the big thing, I think, before area play was he was able to play in the Classic, get his feet back under him. And he's a guy, the amazing thing about J.D., certainly he's capable of scoring. We've seen him score 12 points against Baker, one of the best teams in the state. But he doesn't have to score to affect the game and to help you win. He does so many other intangible things, defensively, rebounding, deflections, all that. And I thought a great example was at the end of the Sparkman game, a big shot block. The game was over, but he was continuing to play hard. He just does so many different things to affect the stat sheet other than score.
Yeah, and the best way to describe him is he is a consummate Nate Oates Hard Hat Award winner, and he would win it night in and night out if we kept up with that because he just does so many things. And you look at his stat line, and it's 4 points or 6 points, and then it's 5 rebounds, but 3 of those are offensive, and there's 4 assists, and there's 3 steals, and he blocked 2 shots, and he had 4 deflections, and he just fills it up. And the guy's active. He's got a great feel for the game. Truthfully, he's probably a next-level point guard. He's going to be about 6'4", point guard, can really pass the ball, really handle. And so you're talking about a guy that can come in and be a secondary handler to Jamari Arnold. And we like when JD scores. He can really shoot it. But he just does so many things well to make our team go. And we're glad that he is back in the fold.
And I wanted to also mention this because it was a great moment for your program. And I know you guys honored him recently before the game against the Albertville Aggies. But what a moment for Jamari Man Arnold. We've had him on the show. We know he's going to North Georgia to continue his education and basketball journey. But what a great moment to have him be honored as a Crimson Panther for scoring his 1,000th point.
Yeah, and you said it right there. It was a great honor to be able to stand out there with him and hand him that ball that says 1,000 career points. And that's an individual accomplishment, but it speaks to, the type of player he's been and the players he's played with, because you don't go on the floor and play a one-on-one game of basketball. It's 5-on-5 and requires a full team to make all this stuff happen. And so it's an achievement that we all take pride in because he's been such a good team player. And he's played with some really good players during his time here at Huntsville, and we could not be more proud for him.
And then, of course, as we know, this is a huge challenge playing at Pinson Valley, a smaller gym, but one that should be packed. It should be the kind of atmosphere you always want to play in, with a lot of electricity. To me, there's nothing like it. I mean, I know football is always going to be king in Alabama, and I love football myself, but there's nothing like, for me, a basketball guy in a packed gym with the electricity and the anticipation. Both these teams are going to be competing and be favorites to try to win a state championship. Of course, Pinson Valley in 6A and Huntsville in 7A. But as you said, Coach, this is a great measuring stick for your young squad. You're playing against a very athletic team. It's going to be a very interesting contrast in styles because Huntsville has a lot of size. They have a lot of skill and speed. I thought the other really outstanding team that Huntsville High played in Georgia over at Lake Point was Grovetown. They played Grovetown in a showcase, did Pinson Valley recently, and hit 14 threes to beat that team. So this is a huge challenge for your squad, and one I'm sure you have some great competitors as part of your program. Your kids play so hard. I'm sure they've been looking forward to this.
They are, and they are. They're a really good team, and there's a reason why they're ranked number 1 in 6A. They're ranked 49th in the country by Max Preps. That's not a computer ranking. That was a hand-picked ranking by the people who do their rankings. They're 49th in the country, and so that's what you're going up against. I think they're 28-2 at home the last 3 seasons. They've won 17 in a row at home, and so this is a great challenge for us. But it's a challenge that we like. We like these type of challenges. Since I got here, we have not run from competition. We've run towards it, and early on, man, we got our head beat in a couple times, but what it did is it toughened us up, and it made us believe that we could compete. And, we've had teams probably go farther than their talent or the roster would have indicated otherwise. And we feel like this team has a chance to be special. I mean, I really like this team a lot. We're a tad young, but this is a good team. And so we're looking forward to playing tonight. Grovetown, them beating Grovetown like that just kind of knocked me back. I mean, I watched that film,
right.
And I think they hit 11 threes in the first half.
Wow.
And, it was as impressive of a showing as I've seen this year. And so you just kind of – they do that tonight, and we put together a good defensive effort, and they hit threes from the parking lot to beat us. And I just tip my hat to them and say y'all are pretty good.
Well, the funny thing, we talked to John Shulman on Talking Ball this morning, and he was taking a look back at their close loss, 83-78 on the road to Auburn Montgomery. And when you looked at the box score, Coach, and you looked at the metrics, UAH did a lot of great things in the game. They shot well from 3. They didn't miss a free throw. They shot over 50%. It's just sometimes the other team is better than you. I kind of felt like that happened in the Huntsville City Classic in one of the great games in the tournament that we've had against Baker, who has LeBaron Philon, who I think is the best player in the state of Alabama individually. And we saw what he did just the other day against LaFleur on Martin Luther King holiday, bringing his team back. I think he scored 36 in the second half. But in basketball, it's a funny game. Sometimes you can play well and lose. I felt like Huntsville High did that in many ways against Baker. And tonight, The same thing could happen against Pinson Valley depending on how they play. But that's what's kind of fascinating about basketball and why it's such a great and beautiful game.
Absolutely. And, we were obviously disappointed to lose to Baker in the semifinals, wanting to get to the finals for the first time in over a decade. And it didn't happen. That was a goal of ours, and it didn't happen. But it wasn't because we didn't play well. We played pretty well. We didn't.
Right.
I had to tip my hat to LeBaron Fowler on that night. I thought we did about all we could defensively,
Wow.
and he went for whatever he went for. He seemed like he made every tough shot in the book. And, then his teammates stepped up around him. We tried to take him away, and a teammate hit 6 threes in that game. And, it's just not much you can do when they hit 14 out of 27 from 3 in front of 2,500 people, one of the biggest games of the season. And it's just, it is what it is. And but we like playing in that environment. We've played in some big environments this year. We've played some good teams, and Pinson Valley tonight will be another one for us to kind of get us one step closer to being able to play and compete and win at a high level late in the season.
Yeah, no question. And taking on an undefeated team this late in the season is quite a task, but it's also a badge of honor. You get a chance to compete in their place, and your team is one of the biggest in the state of Alabama. You got a front line. You've got 6'9", you've got 6'6", you've got 6'4.5", nearly 6'5" with J.D. Gossett. You bring a 6'8" off the bench. So this is going to be a contrast in styles because Pinson Valley has some size, but they're very quick. They're very skilled. This is going to be, if you're a basketball purist, if you're near Pinson, Alabama, or if you want to drive to Birmingham tonight, it's going to be a great game to witness.
And I'm so glad you said that, Drew, because that's what I wanted to do. It's a Wednesday night. For those who don't have church small group tonight, man, I encourage you to get in the car. If you're in the Huntsville area, it's an hour and 22 minutes to Pinson Valley's door. Get in the car, take a friend, drive down there, witness an incredible basketball game, support these high school athletes. And if you're in the Birmingham area or in the surrounding area, get over there and see this game. It'll be a great one. Be a game that you'll want to get your popcorn and Coke for and sit down and get comfortable.
And, Coach, it's the last couple of minutes with you, and we appreciate your time as you're preparing to take your team to Pinson Valley High School tonight. We certainly don't want you to give away the game plan, but what's going to be the key for your squad tonight to have a shot to, to beat an outstanding squad like Pinson Valley and Darryl Barber's group?
Yeah, I just think, and there's a lot of core things that have to happen in important games in any basketball game, like obviously not turning it over, winning the rebound advantage, those type of things. But, for us, we just got to be able to keep 5 guys in front of us. We're on defense, they're on offense. We got to be able to have 5 in our face and make them score in front of us and not us be chasing them into help situations and scramble modes all night, because then they're going to shoot better shots or get layups, or then we're going to be out of position to block out and rebound. And so we just got to be able to keep them in front from a defensive standpoint. And then, offensively, I just think if we continue to do what we've been doing in terms of, controlling tempo and getting that ball from point A to point B and being aggressive and playing inside out, I think we'll be fine offensively.
And then, Coach, I'll just say this: this is one of those what you just said about, if your schedule allows and you're free and you can drive an hour and 22 minutes. I did that several years ago when you were coaching with the great Bucky McMillan. You guys were in an area game, I believe, with Spain Park over at Spain Park, playing against Austin Wiley and Buck Johnson's son and all those guys, Jamal Johnson. I drove at just an hour and a half just so I could see that game. I wanted to be a part of the crowd and the electricity. I'll never forget walking in, and a guy turned and he saw my shirt and he goes, "Are you from Huntsville? Did you just drive for an hour and a half to see a basketball game?" And I said, "Absolutely. I just want to be a part of it. I want to be a part of the juice." That's what it is. If you love basketball, this 256-205 challenge. There's going to be a lot of great matchups, and this is, to me, the marquee one. This is, for a basketball junkie, this is the place to be tonight.
Yeah, I remember that game you're talking about at Spain Park. I think we got beat that night. They were pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. Get to Pinson Valley. Should be a fun one. It just kind of worked out where it's a Wednesday night, so hopefully, there's not many other games going around and people can get to the gym. Should be a lot of fun. Got a lot of respect for Coach Barber and the way he runs his programs, the way he cares for his guys first, and they play hard for him as a result. And I've always kind of paid attention to what he's doing from afar, and over the years have really grown to respect the way he handles his program. And so glad we're getting to play against him tonight.
He's won 4 state titles. You and Bucky McMillan certainly won 5 at Mountain Brook and did a great job. Now a 6-time state champion for that program. And your father won a state title, and you were part of that consistent program over at Trinity. Just an outstanding, journey for you in your coaching career. It's going to be a great test tonight for the Huntsville Crimson Panthers, and a great honor to take part in this event over at Pinson Valley. It's been a while. The last time I was at Pinson Valley High School, they were taking on Shades Valley and some dude named Christian Watford, and I know you know his brother very well. So it's been a minute since I've been over to Pinson Valley, but looking forward to it tonight. And we appreciate you for coming on with us for a few minutes, and look forward to seeing you in a little bit before we make that journey. But thank you for talking some ball with us this morning and on the recruiting blitz. And good luck to the Crimson Panthers and safe travels. And thank you for talking some basketball with us.
Absolutely, Drew. Appreciate you having me on.
Thank you. That's Christian Swears taking some time to join us on the. If you love this show, please continue to support us. Please continue to download our app. Download the Blitz Sports Radio app on your Google Store, on your Apple Store. We really appreciate all the support. We've been going strong since late July with this program. We want to bring you coaches' perspectives, student athletes. We want to talk recruiting. We talked with one of the best analysts in the business yesterday from part of Auburn Live on 3sports.com. Keith Niebuhr we took a dive into the Auburn portal class. Keith's done a great job of tracking that. And don't forget the afternoon blitz with the Bandyman Bailey Lowry and Captain Cool John Abraham. They will be on from 2 to 4 later this afternoon. And again, so many of you have, but if you have not, please download the 97.7 The Zone app, the Google Store, the Apple Store. You could have heard and did hear last night the University of Alabama going on the road. Nate Oates' team, led by the 30 points of the incomparable Brandon Miller. Alabama wins at 78-66 in Memorial Gym against Jerry Stackhouse Commodores. They are now 6-0 in the SEC. They are 16-2 overall, ranked number 4 in America. So another big win for the University of Alabama, a double-digit win, 6 in a row in the SEC by double digits. They will be headed to Missouri to play against another former member of our community, Kobe Brown, and really his brother as well, Caleb. They are huge parts of Missouri basketball. Missouri has a big game tonight as well at home as they will take on Arkansas. Then they will have the University of Alabama this Saturday. That will be a 5 o'clock tip, and you can hear that on 97.7 The Zone. Pregame starting at 4, tip a little after 5. But please continue to download our apps. We certainly appreciate it, and we appreciate all your support. And that's why we consider ourselves the hub of local sports talk in the Rocket City of Huntsville, Alabama. And again, we appreciate Coach Christian Swears for taking some time out of his busy schedule. And as we told you, we are in just a few minutes, we're going to be joined by Coach Daryl Barber, who has done an amazing job at Pinson Valley, already winning a state title, and before that, winning 3 at Midfield. If you keep up with basketball in our state, as far as small schools, they are a powerhouse in 2A and 3A from the Birmingham area. But Daryl Barber has made the move to Pinson Valley. Certainly it's been a seamless one, and he has potentially his best team. I mean, certainly 19-0, you can't get any better than that. It's an extremely talented squad, and we're looking forward to talking some Pinson Valley Indians basketball with him. His thoughts on this 256-205 challenge, taking on Huntsville High in the middle of this season, as Pinson Valley is extremely talented. But we're going to go on a break. When we come back, Coach Daryl Barber of the Pinson Valley Indians set to join us as we're going to talk some Pinson Valley basketball for a few minutes here on the Recruiting Blitz on Blitz Sports Radio. I'm D Squared. Stay with us.
This is Wes Neighbors with Philip with Eagle Insulation, and we have an announcement to make.
Yes, Wes, we are now Eagle Masonry and Insulation. Still a place to call for your installation needs, but now we offer masonry services.
What kind of masonry projects can you handle?
Wes, no job is too big, no job is too small. We can do renovations, new construction, outdoor fireplaces, fire pits, brick landscape borders.
Well, when you came out to my house, you did both the insulation and masonry at the same time. You guys did rock for me, you did brick for me, and you insulated my house. That's usually done at the same time that you're building a house.
Absolutely. It really capitalizes on two services you need at the same time, and you can get one company to handle both of those.
Philip with Eagle Insulation will come out, do your installation. He'll do your masonry. They do a great job. They guarantee your work. Check out more online at insulatedwitheagle.com and schedule your free examination today. 256-755-1556.
Thanks, Wes.
Do you have discomfort in your legs? Varicose veins can affect not only how your legs look, but how they feel. Symptoms of varicose veins include pain, swelling, aching, heaviness, and fatigue. Dr. Tracy Lowry of Best Vein Care of Huntsville can diagnose and treat your varicose veins with the latest minimally invasive techniques. Diagnosis and treatment is covered by most insurances. Call 256-715-7151 to schedule your free screening. Go to bestveincarehuntsville.com.
Tom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
It's the geometry teacher who mans the ticket window.
It's the kid in grade school who paints her face blue and white before every home game.
It's the accountants and salesmen and store managers who give up their Friday evenings to referee.
It's the graduate who listens to the league championship game on the internet.
It's the parent who sells ads in the school athletic program.
It's the cashier at the corner convenience store who wears school colors on every game day.
It's the trainers, equipment managers, and ball boys who never miss a practice.
What makes high school sports here in Alabama so special? They do.
You do.
We all do.
High school sports. It's the we that every community needs. This message presented by the Alabama High School Athletic Association and the Alabama High School Athletic Directors and Coaches Association.
This hour of the Blitz is brought to you by Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Online at FlemingHSV.com. The Blitz has been called.
Welcome back to Talking Ball here. I knew I'd do that. I have Talking Ball with Scott Tyson from 7 to 9 a.m. Monday through Friday on 97.7 The Zone. But right now we're on the Blitz Sports Radio, and this is the Recruiting Blitz with D Squared. We just got through talking to Christian Swears, the outstanding head coach of the Huntsville High School Crimson Panthers. And next, for the first time on our show, we are going to be talking to one of the best coaches in the state of Alabama, trying to be a 5-time state champion, a 4-time state champion right now. In his first season in Benson Valley, he won their first state championship in history. He's now in his 5th year. This is in the middle of his 5th season. He was, of course, spent several years at Midfield High School as well, doing a great job winning state titles 3 times there with the Midfield Patriots, and they are one of the, as we said, best small school, high school programs in the state of Alabama. He made the move to the larger school at Benson Valley. It's been seamless. If he wins tonight, I believe it'll be 5 straight 20-win seasons. That's certainly going to happen at some point in time. He's one of the favorites to win 6A and arguably the top team in the state of Alabama right now. As we already mentioned, they are in the top 50 in the country, according to MaxPreps.com. And certainly when I saw them this summer in Guntersville, I thought they were the most talented team in the state of Alabama that I witnessed this year. and we are honored to be joined now on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline by their fifth-year head coach, and that's Daryl Barber, and he's with us now. Coach, welcome to Huntsville, Alabama, and the show. How are you this morning?
Man, I'm well. I appreciate you for having me. Seems like you did a great deal of homework, and I really appreciate it. It means a lot.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I've followed your success. I'm a junkie. I go to the Final Four every year in Birmingham. I've seen you win state championships. I was there when you guys won it at Pinson Valley. I was there when you won some at midfield. Certainly, I've followed your journey, and you've done an amazing job. And quite personally, and this is just a personal note for me, Coach, I'm an Alabama basketball fan, and when I was 12, I kind of discovered Alabama basketball, and one of your assistant coaches is one of my heroes, and that's Terry Connor, who I've grown up and watched him as a coach as well. And when I found out he was on your staff last year, and of course his sons were part of your program, I was really excited about that. I'm excited to see him tonight and yourself over at Pinson Valley High School for this game. But we appreciate you for joining us, and what a start for your team. I mean, 19-0, you can't do much better than that. I know you have a very good football program over there, but again, basketball very important, and certainly a great start to your season thus far.
Most definitely. It's been a blessing, man. If you would ask me this summer if we would be 19-0, I don't think I would have said it. I knew we had a talented team, and we had a great summer, but I also knew that we were going to play a tough schedule. But like you say, coming over to Pinson Valley, being a football school, it's just who I am as a person. Just wanted to make sure I can put the basketball on the map to get the same notoriety as the football team, and it doesn't hurt to have principal like Mr. Turner and administration that we have.
And it seems to me, though, that that's the thing that's separated. And you say football school, but it's really an athletic school. Pinson Valley puts a lot of resources and money into their athletics. Their administration is committed to it. Certainly that's why you made the move to come there. Won a state title in year one. Now you're in the middle of year 5, and it's been a very consistent level of success for you. I know you went to another Elite Eight. You're trying to get back to Birmingham, win another state championship. But what's been the key for this team this year? I know you saw them in June. You thought you had talent, but how have they grown so far during this season to this point?
Well, first thing I want to say, this is a humble group of guys, and I say this all the time. They truly don't care who gets the credit. And ever since our loss last year, man, those guys have been coming in the gym in the morning. We've been hitting the weight, and they just buying into the process. And it's just a great group of kids on and off the court. And I can't speak enough to their character, which carries over to the court. So that's the key thing. Playing defense, playing for each other, not caring who gets the credit, because we have multiple guys that can score. Has been big for us.
They can, and the one thing about your teams, and I saw them at midfield, and you've taken the style to Pinson Valley. They play very fast, and they're guard oriented. They're very fun to watch. I know, Coach Swears was just on with us, and he was watching film of your team, and we had a chance to play against Grovetown over in Atlanta this summer, and they were a very talented squad. We played very hard against them, but we lost that game. And when we saw you guys played them in a showcase earlier this year, and played as well as you did and shot the ball as well as you. I think your team made 14 threes. That's when I knew Pinson Valley was good, but then I was like, wow, this may be one of those special teams, one of them that you never forget. And what a performance by your kids in that showcase against one of the best teams in the state of Georgia to kind of measure yourself and also show people that in the state of Alabama we can play some good basketball.
Exactly. That's the thing. I've always prided myself on taking, even at Michigan, taking our guys out of town, because I don't think we get enough recognition, in the state of Alabama that we can play ball too. So yeah, most definitely, getting a chance to take these kids out of the state to see a different brand of basketball, that too has helped because you talk about playing teams that have guards the size of our quote unquote big man. You know what I mean? So it's definitely a good look for us.
And for our listeners, and certainly we hope a lot of them make the drive. It's an hour and 22 minutes to Pinson Valley. Certainly it's going to be a packed house. And I guess before we delve into that, Coach, I know you're preparing your team. The most important thing is to get a win over Huntsville. But I've even been asked this. Are tickets going to be available at the door as far as cash, or is this GoFan? How do they attend this game?
Well, it'll be on GoFan. We won't have any tickets available at the door.
So that answers that. And will there be – I know there's also been questions. Are you guys going to have this on NFHS? Will there be a television aspect?
I'm sorry, we don't have the camera in FHS. In our
so we know that now. So we understand. So there will not be NFHS. So that makes it even more important to get on GoFan, order your tickets, make that drive to Pinson Valley, because you're seeing two incredibly high-level teams playing each other. The Pinson Valley Indians 19-0, number 1 in 6A. The Huntsville Crimson Panthers, number 8 in 7A. And, of course, they are 16-7. And, Coach, talk about being a part and being invited by Knight Eady to be a part of this showcase, this first annual 256-205 challenge.
Yeah, it's an honor. Excuse me. It's an honor and a blessing, you know, when the Smiths reached out to us and kind of explained, you know, the background on how they wanted to do things. I was definitely on board from the beginning, you know, getting the opportunity to play up under this type of setting, you know, not at the Final Four, but have the guys that run it to back this thing is a big deal. I've been coming to Huntsville for years. I have nothing but respect for the Huntsville brand of basketball. Coach Schwartz is my guy. I've been knowing him forever. They have a great team, and you know, everybody's talking about number 1 and number 49. When you're playing certain teams, those records and all those things are out the window. And I know it's going to be a great matchup, but it's just an honor again just to be playing against Huntsville, one of the top programs in the state.
Yeah, I mean, we certainly are honored to be making the trip and getting a chance to play against your team. And for our listeners, you've already kind of referenced it a little bit. Talk about some of the great players that you have in your program. I know you've got some guards that are very good, but talk about the style of play and some of your guys that you need to play well tonight.
Well, we need everybody to play well. We don't have a 6'9" guy like I think it's Caleb. Yeah, he's a great asset to their team, but you know, our style of play, we're going to do what we do. Taylor White has been leading us in scoring, but we've had 5 different guys lead us in scoring this year. Of course, you mentioned Terry Connor. He's a senior point guard, one of the most headiest point guards that I've probably coached thus far. I don't know if his little brother will be available tonight, Austin Connor. He's kind of our glue guy, does it all. He messed up his hand a couple games ago, and he didn't play the last 2 games. So we're unsure about him. But, you know, a lot of times when people look at our team, I'm sure they're just looking at Caleb and they're just looking at Terry Connor Jr. Well, you know, we have other guys, 6'6" freshman. He plays the 1 through the 5 within my system. You know, he has Alabama offer, Troy offer. Auburn is looking at him really good. And we have a kid, Amari Bowens, who's been great on the defensive end floor for us. So it's gonna be fun. We're gonna play our style. We're gonna get up and down. Of course, we're gonna shoot it, but you know, we'll start on the defensive end for us. But definitely gonna be exciting brand of basketball.
It certainly will, and that's what just struck me when back to your midfield days, and you had such great teams there, and Cam Woods was such a great scorer. He played for you at midfield and at Pinson Valley, and is now playing on the collegiate level. Your team has always played with a fearlessness, and that's what we're going to see tonight. And I know you've watched film of Huntsville. Huntsville has a lot of size. I know you play a very tough schedule. You guys go out of town. You go to the Georgia showcases. You play against teams from out of state. As far as what you've watched of Huntsville, what has impressed you about the Crimson Panthers and how you guys match up tonight?
Well, they're going to play hard from beginning to end, and that's what I've always expected about those guys. You know, Man is a great point guard. I've been knowing him since he was a young kid. We're going to have to contain him, but the biggest thing we talk about is boxing out as a team. You know, those guys are big, and we've seen a lot of size, but I've always believed that, you know, that size has to come out and guard our guards as well. So we don't get caught up in that. It doesn't matter how tall you are on my end. We just want to make sure everybody box out and do the little things, get to the 50-50 ball. But we know tonight is going to be a tall task, but we'll be looking forward to it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we all are. It's going to be kind of a contrast in styles. Huntsville's size, and Huntsville will play with pace, but certainly the three-point shooting, the skill of your team still has some size. As you talked about the 6'6" freshman who's already a Power 5 prospect. I saw him this summer, outstanding athlete. And your team can get up and down. But this is going to be a great test, too, because I know ultimately you guys are trying to win every game, but the big goal, and you've already done it one time at Pinson Valley, you did it 3 times in 12 and 14 and 17, certainly at midfield, is to win a state championship. This is a kind of a break from area play, Coach, but you get a chance to see that kind of to the type of team you'll have to probably beat to win a state championship.
Right, which is why I made the schedule that I made this year. You know, when Swedish reached out to me, we weren't supposed to play each other, but we both agreed, and this is no disrespect to no one else, but we both agreed that the teams that we were initially going to play, it wouldn't suit us. So when we talked that we knew the brand of basketball that we were going to have to see as well as what he's going to have to see to get to the Final Four, you know, we jumped at the opportunity to make it happen. We made this happen ourselves as far as playing each other. You know, so it's going to be a good deal, and it's going to help us a lot because, like you said, yeah, we want to win every game we play, but at the end of the day, they can't stop us from getting our ultimate goal, and we can't stop them. But, yeah, most definitely it's going to help us a lot moving forward.
It certainly will. And And Coach, certainly we're looking forward to seeing Terry Connor Jr. and play, and certainly you're the set of guards that you've got. And I know through the 19-game stretch, where have you seen, though, your team grow the most? Because, again, a lot of times when you're undefeated and you're 19-0, it's a lot of people talk about, don't get satisfied. Obviously, your team is not. You've played at a very high level. What's been the key for the consistency for your squad?
Well, first of all, I can say with these guys, I don't even think they talk about the rankings. They're so humble. The national ranking, the state ranking, or anything like that. So they don't really get caught up into that. I'm sorry, Lon. Can you ask me?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's just the level of consistency. It's very hard because basketball usually is a game of failure. And what I mean by that is you're not going to go undefeated. It's usually how you react to adversity. Certainly you've had some adverse moments even going 19-0 because you have to in games to find a way to win. But what's been the key to being consistent and being 19-0 for your squad? You talked about them being so humble, but it's very difficult, especially when you have a target on your back if you're number one. But like you said, your team doesn't really pay attention to that. But how have they been able to play so consistently?
Well, I'll be honest with you. This is what I think, and it may sound weird. I don't know if we've been very consistent. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, what I've noticed, to answer your question the most, is that we've had some adverse situations, but we found a way to pull it out. And that meant a lot to me because it's almost like people expect us to beat everybody by 30. And if we don't, then it's a problem. But we played Sandy Creek over in Kentucky. We went to double overtime and won by 1. We were down. We played Midfield, my former school. We were down, came back and won by 10. We played McAdory this past Saturday without, Wu didn't play, but we were down pretty much the whole game. We came back and pulled that out by 4. And here on MLK, we played Fairfield in the packed house, and we were down 6 or 9 at the half, and we came back and won the third quarter. So we've had some moments to where I may have not been satisfied with our complete effort, but I said, this is the type of things you want to see as you go along, how they're going to handle. Because people always talk about handling success. I always talk about, handling failure. But I talk about how do you handle success? When things are going well and things don't go your way, how are you going to handle that success? So we just taking it a game at a time. We're trying to go 1-0 today. Everything else is out the window.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's a credit to your kids. They're winners. They find a way during the game to figure out a way to win, and they've certainly done that. And I know that McAdory team came down here to the N2 Hoops. They're a very talented squad. I saw that 78-74 result. Certainly playing midfield anytime. They're a very talented team. They're one of these squads where I know you coached there for many years, but I always say, kind of like Plainview, I don't look at the classification. I look at the program. And that's how good they are, how good their players are. And certainly your team has been tested throughout. But I know we don't want you to give the game plan away, but what's going to be the key tonight in trying to beat Huntsville?
We're going to play hard. We want you all to come out and watch. But no, seriously, I don't have a problem with saying it. We know we have to control the big man on the inside and just sprint to close out, force them off the three-point line. And just play our brand, make them play our style of basketball, and I think we'll be fine. But I'm looking forward to it.
Well, and I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you this last question because it's one of the things that stuck out when I started kind of researching, and I knew I was going to get you on the show. But I know how dapper you guys dressed for the state championship with the bow ties and everything. Are you going to break them out tonight, or is that being saved for the state tournament should you reach Birmingham?
That's a great question. We hadn't dressed up any this year, so let me just say that.
Oh, okay.
I'll leave it at that. We hadn't dressed up any this year.
We haven't dressed up any, but we look forward to the hour and 22-minute bus ride to Pinson Valley and taking on your amazing program and your great players and your great staff. Congratulations on the start. Certainly the number one ranking, well-deserved in our state 6A rankings and the national ranking. Continued success, but we look forward to the challenge tonight. Should be a great one in this 256-205 challenge. And Coach Barber, we appreciate the time, and we look forward to speaking with you again down the road. Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you for having me, and I wish you all safe travel.
Thank you. That's Daryl Barber, the head basketball coach. His 5th season with the Pinson Valley Indians. They are number 1 in 6A, 19-0 tonight, and they will take on the number 8 Huntsville Crimson Panthers, 16-7 of Coach Christian Swears. That will be, again, at Pinson Valley High School. And if you didn't hear earlier, Coach Barber gave us the details. Go fan only. Go fan to get your tickets and no NFHS/television coverage. So if you want to see maybe the highest level basketball game of the year in the state of Alabama, you've got to be there in person. Get in your car. If you have that opportunity, make the drive. come see the Pinson Valley Indians host the Huntsville Crimson Panthers in this 256-205 challenge, as Christian Swears is going to take his squad and test them against as talented a squad as I think there is in the entire state. You heard Coach Barber talk about it. Great guard play for Pinson Valley, an outstanding big in their 6'6" freshman that's already been offered by Alabama, Auburn, Troy, numerous Power 5 schools. I saw that young man this summer. He's an outstanding player. This should be for you people out there that are listening to this show. Most of you that are recruiting junkies, hopefully basketball junkies like myself as well. This should be something that you want to see, no doubt about it. Just like you heard when I was talking to Coach Swears about making the drive to see the Spain Park Jaguars take on Bucky McMillan in Mountain Brook. It was an outstanding game in front of a packed house. Coach Antoine Petway got there late, sat in front of me. We talked a little bit. It was a great game, great high school basketball game. Going to be that tonight, and Huntsville Crimson Panthers going to put the Madison County and Huntsville area's reputation on display as they're going to play Pinson Valley. Pinson Valley and Coach Barber never running from competition. These two coaches seek it out, and it should be a great matchup, and we're certainly looking forward to it. But we're also looking forward to closing out this edition of the Recruiting Blitz on Blitz Sports Radio. Stay with us. I'm D Squared, and we'll wrap up this Wednesday edition when we get back.
The Blitz has been called.
Adopt US Kids presents Multiple Choice Parenting.
You're bringing your daughter to her favorite pop star's concert. Do you A, wear earplugs?
Isn't this fun, Dad?
I'll have a soft pretzel.
B, remember the moment with matching concert t-shirts?
That's gonna be $180.
Or we can just take a photo.
C, show her how you used to do concerts.
We're going crowd surfing.
I can't. It's too heavy. Oh my God.
Or D, just roll with it.
Woo! Justin! Look at us! We're over here!
Justin! OMG! I love you, Justin! I love you!
When it comes to parenting, there are no perfect answers. But that's okay, because you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Teens in foster care will love you just the same.
For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
The tech show's on this month. You know, I was thinking of looking at home security systems.
Oh, cool. I'll go with you. We're looking for more home security ideas, too. That's why I called Budget Blinds.
Budget Blinds?
Look at this.
A remote for the blinds.
Yep, motorized.
Okay, well, that's beyond cool. I love it. But what does it have to do with home security?
Oh, they also come with a timer. The blinds and drapes open themselves in the morning, close in the evening.
Oh, so it looks like somebody's home even when you're not.
Exactly, and I saved a bunch of money. Sally saved a bunch of money.
Ha, but you'll take the credit.
Yeah.
My brother, the tech genius.
Thanks, man.
Now give me that remote.
Budget Blinds motorized window coverings are the ultimate in luxury, and during the Luxury Within Reach event, they're even more affordable. The more you buy, the more you save, with savings up to $2,000. Hurry and call 855-BUDGET-BLINDS now before this offer ends, or go online to budgetblinds.com. Don't miss out. Call 855-BUDGET-BLINDS now. Offer good on select products at participating independently owned and operated franchises. Restrictions may apply. Ask for details.
This is Wes Neighbors with Philip with Eagle Insulation, and we have an announcement to make.
Yes, Wes, we are now Eagle Masonry and Insulation. Still a place to call for your installation needs, but now we offer masonry services.
What kind of masonry projects can you handle?
Wes, no job is too big, no job is too small. We can do renovations, new construction, outdoor fireplaces, fire pits, brick landscape borders.
Well, when you came out to my house, you did both the insulation and masonry at the same time. You guys did rock for me, you did brick for me, and you insulated my house. That's usually done at the same time that you're building a house.
Absolutely. It really capitalizes on two services you need at the same time, and you can get one company to handle both of those.
Philip with Eagle Insulation will come out, do your installation. He'll do your masonry. They do a great job. They guarantee your work. Check out more online at insulatedwitheagle.com and schedule your free examination today. 256-755-1556.
Thanks, Wes.
How long does it take to get to the forest?
That's not far.
What are we gonna do? Hike?
Sure.
Are we there yet?
Yep, it's a short drive from your neighborhood to your naturehood. Visit discovertheforest.org, brought to you by the Ad Council and the U.S. Forest Service.
This hour of the Blitz is brought to you by Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Online at FlemingHSV.com. The blitz has been called.
Welcome back. As we wrap up this edition of the Recruiting Blitz on Blitz Sports Radio, I'm D Squared, Drew Armand. And again, I wanted to pay homage to the University of Alabama yesterday. Nate Oates and his crew going to Memorial Gym, playing against Howard Pride's alma mater, the Vanderbilt Commodores, and getting a big win, 78-66, as Brandon Miller continues his unbelievable play, dropping 30 points, 10 rebounds. The best freshman, I think, in all of college basketball, the best freshman I've ever seen at the University of Alabama. Just what a performance once again by him. Now back-to-back 30-point games, had 31 in a winning effort, as we know, on this past Saturday, and a 40-point win over the LSU Tigers. And now LSU will host Bruce Pearl's Auburn Tigers tonight. That'll be a big game within the SEC. Quite a few interesting matchups in the Southeastern Conference tonight that we will be monitoring very closely because, again, it's conference play. It's the best time of the year is that we will be monitoring those matchups. The results last night, Ole Miss and Kermit Davis, they get off the schneid, get their first conference win on the road at South Carolina, 70-58. Rick Barnes' Tennessee squad bounces back with a strong second half to beat Mississippi State in Starkville, 70-59. As we said, Alabama 78-66 winners on the road in Nashville. And then the Kentucky Wildcats, John Calipari, a huge game from Oscar Tshiebwe, the reigning National Player of the Year, his best game of the season, as they get a win over the much-improved Bulldogs of Mike White and in Georgia. They do a great job, as we said. Oscar Tshiebwe, 12 of 20 from the floor, as he ends up with 37 points and 24 rebounds in that win. But a big win for Kentucky, and now a big-time slate. Auburn traveling to LSU. That will be an ESPN2 6 o'clock tip. Auburn, a 4.5-point favorite in that one. The Florida Gators traveling to unbeaten in the SEC, 12-5 Texas A&M. Buzz Williams' squad flying under the radar. Didn't have a great pre-conference. Have played very well within the league, and they are trying to stay in lockstep with Alabama. And then Texas A&M will go to Kentucky on Saturday for another huge matchup, as John Calipari's squad continuing to try to turn things around for the Wildcats. Missouri will host Eric Walmart and the Arkansas Razorbacks. Arkansas barely hanging on to the top 25 now. They're ranked 25th in the country. Missouri, as we know, 13-4 under first-year coach Dennis Gates, and we talked about it. Their best player, Kobe Brown, former league general, state champion for Greg Brown and his squad. And let me correct myself. Greg has won 3 state championships. Unfortunately, Kobe wasn't on those squads, but he was still an outstanding player. He and Caleb, both at Missouri, both outstanding players for their father, Greg Brown, and were big parts of our city, and they're both representing us so well, the 256 in the SEC. Kobe Brown, again, has had an outstanding career, 1,000-point scorer, and a great rebounder, a guy that dropped 30 on Kentucky. Hopefully, he will have a 30-burger for Eric Walmart tonight as they can beat the Arkansas Razorbacks. And then on Saturday, don't forget, the Missouri Tigers will take on the University of Alabama. That will be an SEC Network broadcast at 5 o'clock, and you can hear that starting at 4 on our sister station, 97.7 The Zone. So that's why you need to download the 97.7 The Zone app. You need to download the Blitz Sports Radio app. And don't forget, later today from 2 to 4, it's going to be the afternoon blitz with the Bandyman Bailey Lowry and Captain Cool John Abraham, as they will have their weekly visit with R.J. White. He will be on with the guys today, and they'll have a lot of quality sports talk. So don't forget the afternoon blitz. And then don't forget, later today, you will have the drive with Wes and Steve as well from 5 to 7 as we continue to be the kings of local programming. But again, from 2 to 4, the afternoon blitz. So don't forget to download our app. And don't forget tonight, if any of you guys can make that drive, if you're not out at UAH taking in the Chargers in Montevallo and Anthony Camara coming home, come out, see the Huntsville Crimson Panthers and, of course, the Pinson Valley Indians. Should be a great matchup in the 256-205 Challenge. Everybody, have a great rest of your Wednesday. We'll talk to you tomorrow at 9 a.m. here on the Blitz Sports Radio.